in addition to breaking down Mizzou and college hoops as well as the NBA. So come out and support KCOU live at Willie's and Bullwinkle's next Saturday from noon to 2:30 p.m. And stay for the game as Mizzou men's basketball takes on Ole Miss right after the show. Welcome back. It's the cast, Colton Anderson Sports Talk. David Kunz is with me as well. A new segment, NFL Soup, is coming up at 8:30, so be sure to be here for that. But let's start with a bigger NFL story. I think we need to talk about Kyler Murray, for sure. The all-star football and baseball player out of Oklahoma, Heisman winner, Final Four quarterback this past year, has made big news this week when he backed out of his $5 million signing bonus with the Oakland Athletics to enter the NFL draft and play football full-time. Now, I think we need a better understanding of how special an athlete this guy is before we talk about whether the decision he made was right or wrong. So many people are so fast to say, he's going to get hit, he's going to get a concussion, he should have played baseball, or why is he wasting time with baseball? He should have played football. I think we need a foundation first of how good this guy is, how special, how talented this guy's been his entire life. Now, there are NFL players who in high school were mismatches, phenoms, special clearly. And there are players who win state titles and awards and whatnot. But there has never been a single player in the history of high school football in America or anywhere with the resume that compares to Kyler Murray. Kyler started 3 seasons for Allen High School in Allen, Texas, a suburb of Dallas, and went undefeated all 3 seasons and won back-to-back-to-back state titles in the largest division in Texas, UIL 6A. And in the 2016-2017 academic year, there were approximately 4,841 students enrolled at Allen High School for an average of 1,210 kids per class. That was the competition Kyler was up against. This was not 7-on-7 ball. If you thought that a high school class of 400 kids was large, try tripling that, and you get Allen High School. And this is the competition Allen High School has to play every single year. Kyler won 3 straight state titles and 3 straight undefeated seasons, breaking records, running over D1 and pro caliber players since he was 15 years old. He was the best high school quarterback in the state of Texas at 16. Also, Allen High School, they're not the only high school in Texas to play at this caliber of football. And just to give you some reference for how big of a deal this is, Allen in 2014 built a $60 million football stadium that seats 18,000 people. And they don't share it. They don't share it with anybody. And they pack it to the brim like sardines every single Friday night. 19,000 per high school football game. At a school where 4,500 kids attend. 1,200 per class. Again, this ain't 7-on-7 ball. And this ain't Friday Night Lights, podunk, booney football. Allen High School, UIL Division 6A, is the baddest of the baddest. And Kyler Murray was king. This guy was the greatest high school football player of all time. And it's not even close. Now, after high school, let's look at his college career. 1 year of starting at OU. We could go on all day about how A&M botched it. They had Kyler Murray. They told him he was going to be a big piece, but then they benched him in his freshman year and let him get away. Didn't even let him play baseball either. Broke all of the promises that they made recruiting Kyler Murray, and he walked. He went to a school that treated him better. He went to a school that, despite his size, gave him a real chance to succeed. And he wins the Heisman. Breaks all the records you can break and leads his team to the Final Four in just 1 season. His only shot. He makes the most of it. And as far as football goes, this guy has been touched by the hand of God himself. And he has not yet been rivaled, slowed down, or stopped in the slightest capacity in football. Baseball is relatively the same story, not as illustrious, but he was named an Under Armour All-American in baseball while at Allen High School. And he goes to OU and hits for .296 in his only full season. He was drafted 9th overall by the Athletics, not because he was a great football player, but because he's good enough at baseball to be drafted 9th overall. So this guy is a god at football and an unbelievable baseball player at the same time. So the decision he made was to play football, which I think is the right decision for just more than a few reasons. First, what is Kyler's biggest weakness in football? What is his biggest knock? What are we all talking about? It's his height, right? All you hear about is his height. He's too small. Can he throw in the pocket? Can he see over his linemen? Well, I didn't see any height problems when he threw for 37 touchdowns this year at OU. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't see any height problems when he passed for 3,600 yards. I didn't see that height was a factor when he completed 70% of his passes this year. And some may say, yeah, Colton, that's in college, but now he's headed to the NFL. Well, correct me if I'm wrong again, but players don't get taller when you hit the NFL. Compared to big-time Power 5 college football, the players don't get taller. Yes, they get stronger, faster, smarter, but not taller, right? This isn't basketball. The offensive linemen in the NFL are 6'5", and all the offensive linemen at OU are 6'5". That, along with more than a couple of sub-6 feet quarterbacks, are having success in the NFL right now. Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Baker Mayfield. The odds are actually, if you're short, you're going to be better. Every short quarterback in the NFL is a good quarterback. It's the 6'3", 6'4" guys that are actually relatively bums. Take all the short quarterbacks in the NFL you can name, and they're all big names. You know, Tyrod Taylor's pretty good. Case Keenum has had years of success, and Case Keenum throws for average numbers. Don't talk to me about height when it comes to Kyler Murray. It wasn't a problem at OU. It wasn't a problem when he was playing the best of the best of the best in both high school, college, and now going to be the NFL. Height's not a problem. You also don't hear that Kyler doesn't have the mind for it or the arm for it. He has a plus arm and a plus mind. So if it's not height, what can it be? I don't think it can be anything. Why can't this guy succeed in the NFL? And I haven't even mentioned money yet. The traditional idea that I hear as well is that baseball money is the largest. That's not true. Basketball money is now the largest. Anthony Davis, if he stays with the Pelicans through next year, can sign a $300 million fully guaranteed contract with the Pelicans. Basketball money has now passed baseball, and I can prove it to you again. Bryce Harper and Manny Machado are not going to sign for as much money as we saw Pujols or A-Rod or anybody. The money in baseball is going down. The money in all the other sports are going up. So don't talk to me about money in baseball. If Kyler's the second quarterback taken, like we think he's going to be, at about 6 or 7 in the draft, I think he's going to make somewhere in the ballpark of $20 million guaranteed. Josh Allen for the Bills was taken 7th overall last year, got $21 million fully guaranteed. Josh Rosen, $11 million guaranteed. Kyler's going in between there, and Kyler's going to get about $18 to $20 million fully guaranteed. The money short term is way better. The fame is uncomparable, considering that Kyler was going to have to play single A and double A ball his first 2 years in the pros. The endorsements are uncomparable as well. Kyler clearly loves football more than baseball. I don't know him personally, but I'm willing to guess he only plays baseball, 1, because his father was an MLB player, and 2, because he's really good at it. But clearly, the passion that burns within his soul is for football.
And the money's in football right now, but you mentioned something about him being drafted pretty early at the top of the first round. My question is, which team will take him? The Giants, in my opinion, are the first team that really needs a quarterback, and then the Jaguars are after that. They also need a quarterback. But then you go down the list a while, and you don't really have teams who need a quarterback right now. And unless he's like you said, the second quarterback off the board, which I'm not necessarily sure he will be. I think Daniel Jones and Dwayne Haskins might go ahead of him. But where would you see him falling? Because I don't think the Cardinals will take the number 1 pick on him.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of teams. The Oakland Raiders have their hand on the button right now. They have three first-round picks this year, and they could move up and down in the draft. They could move on from Derek Carr. They could be the new look Raiders when they move to Vegas. I think Oakland could definitely draft quarterback. Tampa Bay is also a team that can draft quarterback. We know that they're not sold on Fitzpatrick long-term, and we're pretty sure that they're not totally sold on Jameis Winston long-term. That being said, Jameis Winston, I think, has talent, and you have to stick with him for the next couple of years. But Tampa Bay could definitely draft quarterback, whether it be Haskins or Kyler Murray, or trading down for somebody like Jacksonville to jump New York and get the quarterback that they want. I think that, the Denver Broncos were going to take quarterback, but they're not anymore. Yeah. The Miami Dolphins at 13 could take quarterback. They're going to move on from Tannehill. And Washington, the Redskins, could take quarterback at 15. And so I think this draft is going to be interesting. We're going to see a lot of teams moving up because I'm sensing something. Although I don't totally agree with this, I'm sensing that there's a huge rift between the top 2 quarterbacks, which are Dwayne Haskins and Kyler Murray. There's a huge rift between those two and then Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Ryan Finley, Will Grier, and everybody else. There's a Grand Canyon-sized rift in between quarterbacks 2 and 3. So a lot of teams might be very desperate to get the second quarterback of those 2 to make sure that they're not left with quarterbacks 3 through about 8. I don't agree with that, but that's what I'm sensing when I take a temperature of what's going on, how these quarterbacks are being assessed. But I want to move back to Kyler Murray and the last reason why I think he made the right decision. What lesson is Tim Tebow teaching us right now? Tim Tebow's 31. The dude's not young. If he's teaching us anything, it's that you can put the bat down for a decade and come back to it. Yes, Tim Tebow is a pretty special baseball player, but he's nowhere near as good as Kyler was, is, or going to be. So Kyler can play out his rookie year, and if everybody thinks he's going to hit a wall because of his height, he can go back to baseball at 24 years old. Tim Tebow at 31 might make the majors when the rosters expand at the second half of this year. Kyler is way more talented a baseball player. Kyler, without a doubt, for multiple reasons, made the right decision. And I'm very excited to see where he goes. And I think he's going to play at a very similar level that Baker Mayfield is playing at right now. And in 8 years, we're going to say he made the right call. Good for Kyler Murray choosing football over baseball. Coming up next, it's a new segment, NFL Soup. Stay with us. It's The Cast.